name is Father Nick Austriaca, and I'm an assistant professor at biology with an affiliation in theology at Providence College in Rhode Island. And I'm here in Warsaw attending the Conference of Dominican Scholars Interested in Thomism. It's been an amazing experience to meet my brothers from all over the world with common interests, not only in the intellectual life, but also in the way that theology has to be done within the context of monastic observance, as well as the common life that we share together in prayer, in recreation, and in study. I'm particularly excited because earlier today, the conference decided that the next meeting, the next gathering of these scholars will occur in 2013 at the Dominican House Studies in Washington, where we, the Sons of the Province of St. Joseph, will play host. So I think it's a wonderful experience and a wonderful opportunity for our province to serve the order and the church, as to reinvigorate the intellectual life of the order, and to recover and to reaffirm the patrimony that we've received from St. Thomas Aquinas.
I'm Father James Brent. I'm here in Warsaw at the conference, the Dominicans and the Challenge of Thomism. I just finished my formation at the Dominican House of Studies. I'm about to become a professor at the Catholic University of America in DC. And to be at this conference has been a great experience for me. It's the first time I've experienced the order in a really international setting. There are Dominicans here from all over the world. There's a lot of young Dominicans. There is a lot of excitement about the wisdom of St. Thomas Aquinas and what the wisdom of St. Thomas has to offer the church and the world at this point in time. And there are a lot of men here thinking about a lot of important questions, and it's just a great experience to be part of it all and to help bring the wisdom of St. Thomas to people in the church and throughout the world. And I think that that's a great way for us as Dominicans to lead people to God.
Hello, my name is Father Dominic Langevin. I was previously vicar and campus minister at St. Thomas Aquinas Parish in Charlottesville, Virginia, our campus ministry to the University of Virginia. And for the last 2 years I've been in Freiburg, Switzerland at the university there as a doctoral student, and since the last 6 months as an assistant to a professor at the university. I'm working on a doctorate in sacramental theology, and here in Warsaw I presented a paper on the possibility of ritual sacrifices offered by Catholics today. In terms of our work here, I've been very impressed by the quality of the submissions for conversation. And one thing that struck me, perhaps from my pastoral background, is the setting here for the conference is right next to the Dominican parish for this area of Warsaw, of which there are about 8,000 people that attend Mass on Sunday, I'm told. And even during the weekdays we've been here, I've seen hundreds of people at Mass and many dozens at confession. And having prayed in the church, it struck me that the work that we're doing in the conference has a direct relation to the pastoral service that's given in the parish here, as well as our own pastoral service in the United States. So for instance, my own work, sacramental theology, trying to understand how God works through the sacraments, that should help us, I believe, and I see it happening in the pastoral service that we offer in our parishes and in our churches here in Warsaw and throughout the world, including the United States.
My name is Father Romanus Cesario. I'm a Dominican priest, and I'm presently talking to you from Warsaw in Poland. Here the Dominicans are very strong and have been in Poland since the 13th century. Many of the early Dominicans were martyred, and the province has been a strong province throughout its long history. A contemporary expression of the strength of the Polish province is the present conference that has brought Dominicans from around the world to Warsaw to discuss something which belongs to Dominicans in a very special way, and that is the teaching and thought of our brother St. Thomas Aquinas. Dominicans confront the challenge of Thomism today. Thomism is a general term that explains the long history of teaching and instruction and research in the Dominican order since the death of St. Thomas Aquinas in the third quarter of the 13th century. There have been many Thomists. Dominicans are proud of Thomism, and Thomism produces within the Dominican a certain understanding of divine things that accounts for what makes us unique among the religious orders that flourish within the church. St. Thomas is ours in a special way. We love him, we study him, and this conference has been, is continuing to be as well, a remarkable expression of the unity that reading common texts and beginning from common principles gives to the study of theology. I would encourage the young men listening to me who are considering a priestly vocation to consider joining the Dominicans and joining the company of Thomist saints and scholars who have flourished throughout the order's nearly 800 years of history.
Hello, my name is Father Paul Keller. I am a friar assigned to St. Gertrude Priory in Cincinnati, Ohio, where I also am a professor of sacramental theology at the seminary, Mount St. Mary Seminary of the West, part of the Athenaeum of Ohio. The conference that we've been attending here in Warsaw, Poland has been excellent with regard to the academic papers that have been given to help us become better professors and preachers of the gospel. It's been a wonderful experience to be with all of my Dominican brothers from around the world. In fact, it's been so heartening for us to come together and to talk about what is very cohesive in our order, our religious order, and that is the theology and philosophy of St. Thomas Aquinas, which so much undergirds everything that we do as Dominicans. It's been wonderful because the talks have come from a variety of fields, encouraging us to bring the great learning and teaching of St. Thomas Aquinas to the world in so many different ways. Very happy to have been here.
My name is Father Basil Cole. I'm a professor at the Dominican House of Studies, soon to go to New York and work with bioethics at St. Catherine's in New York. This particular conference has been very, very inspiring for me. First of all, as a professor, I've been able to learn things that are not in my field on Trinitarian theology, on moral theology, and other things that I don't immediately talk about in my classes. And secondly, it was a wonderful experience to see so many of my former students who were giving papers and were reacting to other papers, and to see how they've matured and grown, etc. And hear major conferences by people that I've known for years. So it's been a wonderful affective experience seeing old friends that I haven't seen in many years, that I've lived with in Rome and France and other places during my life as an older Dominican. If I were a younger Dominican, it would be great, helpful too, if I was writing a thesis, to be able to hear other people talk about their theses and what they're working on, because I learned an enormous amount of things that I don't directly study all the time. It's been a great grace, inspiration for me.
I'm Father Michael Sherwin from University of Freiburg in Switzerland. I'm a professor of moral theology. We're here at this meeting in Warsaw. It's a joy for me to be here. So much of what we do, the motto of the order is contemplate and give the fruits of our contemplation to others. So a lot of what we do is alone, studying in our rooms, and it's a joy to see other students of Aquinas together, see what other people are doing, share our thoughts and our ideas. And especially it's very moving for me to be here in Warsaw, seeing how 67 years ago people were reflecting on the evils that can occur from a false anthropology and a false sense of virtues cut from the foundation of truth, to see how Warsaw has bounced back. There are people who are dedicated to living the truth with love, and it's great to be here to celebrate that.